Good morning, Panthers. It's Tuesday. So, let's see. This weekend was the project for Awesome, and I modded again, and I'm so tired. That's good. I love the project for Awesome, and it's fun, but being a moderator is just really tiring, especially when you have to do it for 48 hours. Not that I did it for 48 hours straight. I mean, I did take a couple of breaks to have a nap, but I did it for most of the 48 hours, and it's tiring. Nella, I loved your footage. It was great. The salt mine is beautiful and fascinating. I've never seen anything like that before. And the park is beautiful too, like so lovely. So I'm trying to think of something like interesting to say about it, but I'm so tired. But no, I really enjoyed watching your footage, and I'm glad that you put it together for us. And similarly, Phoebe, I know you said that you were afraid your office footage wouldn't be that interesting, but I really like seeing your everyday environments, I guess. I mean, I know we've sort of talked about this before at various times over the lifespan of this channel, but I feel like generally when you're friends with somebody IRL, you know that kind of stuff about them. You know what their house looks like, or you know where they work, and you have all this kind of information that you just sort of absorb from being around them all the time, and you don't get that as much with with people that you only know over the internet, because you just don't get as much of the everyday minutia of their lives. So I like seeing your environment. I like seeing what your office looks like. So thank you for doing that, because I thought it was neat. What else was I gonna say? I feel like there was oh, you guys asked about the fires. That was the thing. This last batch of really terrible wildfires in California didn't really affect us right here that much. Not because the smoke didn't get this far or whatever, but just because of the way the air currents happened to be at this particular moment in this particular place. We right here didn't get very much smoke, so it didn't really affect us that much directly, although there were areas around us that got a lot of smoke, but right here exactly did not. And Phoebe, you asked about the garden and the smoke. Our garden didn't do very well this year, and I don't know if it was because of the smoke exactly. It also is just because we just did not do a great job gardening this year. Everybody was really tired and otherwise occupied. There was a lot of other stuff going on, so we didn't pay as much attention to the garden as we might have otherwise. But also probably the smoke did not help. Yeah, things just didn't really grow as well as they normally would, and we had some kind of weird stuff. We had a lot of trouble with blossom end rot with the tomatoes, which we don't normally have trouble with, even though we had fertilize them with calcium, which is what you do for blossom end rot. Yeah, so the whole garden was just kind of not at its best this year, and I don't know if we can really blame that entirely on the smoke, but I suppose the smoke probably did not help. So we didn't really get very much in the way of vegetables and stuff, because we didn't grow that many vegetables. First of all, this year we didn't have a huge vegetable patch this year. But also the stuff that we did grow didn't do very well. So there was that. But you also asked about the effectiveness, and so I spent all summer gathering yarrow to dry, and I dried it like crazy, and then it molded anyway. So I don't know how the effectiveness of that turned out, because it all went bad. I dried calendula all summer, and I have a bunch of it. And I have, in fact, it's right here. I have a jar right here of calendula infused oil, which is just olive oil with calendula flowers in it, which I am going to use to make lotion. But this is my first jar of it, so I don't know how effective it's going to turn out to be. I haven't strained it yet or used it for anything. I'm excited about this, though, because this particular variety of calendula is supposed to have more of the resin, which is like the medicinal part of the calendula. This particular variety is supposed to have more of that than like regular varieties of calendula, so this is the first time I've had it. This is the first year I've grown it, so I'm excited to see how it turns out. And this is a jar of lavender infused oil. I didn't grow this lavender, I bought it. And this is a jar of chamomile infused oil, which I also bought, not grew. And so I'm going to use the chamomile and the lavender and the calendula together to make lotion, which I hope will be very soothing and healing for my skin. It's really easy, by the way. You just take oil and beeswax and mix them together. You like melt them and then mix them together, and that's pretty much it. You mix them in different proportions depending on whether you want a more solid or less solid end product. What was the other thing? Oh, the night circus. I knew there was another thing I was supposed to talk about. So yeah, and then I read the night circus, and I thought the most useful thing I read about it, or the most spot-on thing I read about it, was on Goodreads. Maggie Stiefvater wrote a review of it that I thought was pretty right on. One of the things she wrote is that you should basically ignore the cover blurb and all of that stuff, because they make it sound like it's a romance, and it isn't really. I mean, there is a love story in it, but the book is not really about that, and it's not even really, I would say, about any of the characters so much as it is about the circus itself. I got the feeling that the author was much more interested in the circus itself than in any of the particular characters, although she uses the characters to tell the story of the circus, if that makes sense. I was interested in reading it originally because I knew it had been written during NaNoWriMo, and so I thought that was, it was one of the first books that I ever remember hearing about that had been written during NaNoWriMo that had then been, you know, traditionally published. If there's anything like in particular that you want to know about it, you know, let me know, and I will try to answer whatever questions you've got. So I'm starting to wind down pretty good. I'm getting kind of tired. So I love everybody, and I will see you all next week. Don't forget to be awesome.